Okay, welcome back. And it's been a while, but always a delight when we have time to sit down with Richard C. Lyons. He's a world historian, third-generation printer who's been involved in publishing and stage and television productions throughout his career. He's the author of a trilogy of the American government, with his latest one being, which is the third volume, Passage Through the Shadows. And there's a picture of the cover of that book right there. He does have a website, richardclyons.com, and there's the landing page, richardclyons.com. Brother Richard, good to see you, friend. How are you, bud?
Oh, great to see you again, Perry. Wonderful to join you.
Yeah, good stuff all the way around. A lot to talk about. Just a little bit off the top. Big primary yesterday in California. Hilton moves ahead. And this little guy, Pratt, down there is knocking bass around in Southern Cal for the mayorship. What's your take?
We can only hope, right, Perry?
Yeah.
That the ineffective programs of the Democrat Party that have made perhaps our most beautiful and vibrant state one of the worst in the country, that the Democrats in California will wake up. Those who have been voting Democrat for generations will change their vote now to Republican.
Okay. We'll see as we move now towards November. Well, the other big thing is the 250th birthday of the United States. Your passion in writing about American government, how significant do you think this one is?
I think it's extremely significant, Perry, in that I can't think of a democracy that lasted this long, but we have to be mindful of the warning of Alexander Tytler, who was a contemporary of the founding generation. And like so many of his peers, he studied Greek democracies and the Roman Republic in depth and came to the studied conclusion that democracies only last roughly 200 years until the larger elements of the population find they can vote themselves benefits from the common treasury and therefore destroy property rights.
Okay. Is our republic in decline?
I do not think it is in decline. I think we are being attacked from within by the socialists that have been. Socialism's been growing in this country now 100 years. Perry, we've spoken about this on other of your shows. Mm-hmm. It has been growing since the time of Woodrow Wilson. It has grown by not being named. It has grown because the Democrats do not run their campaigns on the fact that they're socialists. But having grown for 100 years now, as is evidenced in the administrative state, which is a structure that Woodrow Wilson created and which is antithetical because it's full of appointed, unelected people who have a lot to do with the governance of this country. We are at a tipping point now. We are at a profound Y in the road where we're either going to return to founding principles or we're going to be the prey of a party that is now more aligned to what the Soviet Union was than what the United States was. That's very dangerous when you consider, I know for your network, freedom of faith is the profound right, and it should be. One of the first acts of the Bolsheviks when they won in Russia, they burned down 40,000 churches after they looted them and killed all the clerics. That is what socialism is. And now it's out in America. After having been in our educational institutions, cultural institutions, now they're in the streets, as announced in 2020 by their looting and burning 200 cities.
Do you think America has woken up to what you just said?
I find it so odd that it's so quiet. But those who have to wake up are the 50% of the Democrats who have voted Democrat just because their grandfather voted Democrat. This is not that Democrat party. This is a party that is, and I did so in Shadows of the Acropolis. Thank you for mentioning my series. In volume 2, pages 380 and 381, I put side by side our founding principles against socialist principles. Perry, they're not just dissimilar. They're not of a kind. They are diametric opposites, so that one cancels the other. If you are socialist, you cannot be in harmony with our founding principles. And now we are at that point where either we're going to be one or the other, because socialism doesn't allow for competition.
Doesn't the second election of President Trump, with the hiatus of 4 years of extreme socialism in the White House, say that we are waking up, even though they've tried to kill him and lawfare him out of office, that we are waking up, that we put him back in office because we didn't like what we saw. The question is, they've demonized him so bad, does this thing have any coattails to it?
I think it is to the great hope of the country that socialist policies, when they are enacted, are repudiated consistently. When you call socialism socialism, when someone stands up beside Hassan Hiker, stands beside that radical, violent person and says, I'm a socialist, that candidate, let's see if they lose in November. Let's see if those persons pleading for the end of Israel, demanding that they be obliterated, let's see if they get elected. And there are those on ballots this November.
When you have people like Alan Dershowitz, who was proudly a Democrat almost from birth, go to independent and then recently say, no, that's not far enough, I'm becoming a Republican. That's quite a switch, especially with a guy like him and in his position.
It's a wonderful hope, but it tells the whole nation, I hope, because Alan Dershowitz is so respected, an intellect and a believer in liberalism, that today's socialism isn't liberalism. They hid behind that patina for decades, but it is not that anymore. Socialism will trample on every right we have as individuals to empower the state and the right of the state to our wealth, our belief system, our education system, our economy. They spare nothing. And I'm very delighted that Alan Dershowitz stood at great cost to him socially, to great cost to him with regard to Harvard, and said, I've had enough of this. Half the Democratic Party, if they knew what the Democrat really is today, would do the same.
All right. Now, I was chairman of the Republican Party here in the state of Oregon for 4 years. I had a son that served in the legislature for 14 years. So we have those dirty T-shirts and scars. But here's something that's so interesting to me is the number one voting group in Oregon and throughout the country is independents. People are turned off by party politics on both sides. But given what's going on, do you think that middle is left-leaning or right-leaning?
I think the emergence of Spencer Pratt is a great thing in California, and Steve Hilton, because they're pleading something that the middle wants. Rather than party identification, how about common sense? Instead of caring about illegal immigrants, what about my family? Instead of sheltering criminal gangs, how about my children being able to walk to their school or get on the metro and not be you know,
Right.
assaulted.
Do you think if you look back just over, say, the past 10 years, the demoralization of America is frightening.
Yeah.
It's frightening. I mean, all this nonsense that we're dealing with came from the left. It's a purposely driven agenda to demoralize America where anything goes. But it looks like it may be hitting the wall when you have the younger generation turning to faith because the culture has lied to them. Something is moving. Do you sense that?
Yes, and it's a wonderful, again, emergence of a generation that has all this social media. In other words, you can go anywhere for content. You can get any content you want. And the content they are thirsting for is the cup of Christ.
Okay. Is the attack against the president working?
I think it's helping to focus a large amount of our population. I mean, when you go back, Perry, think about this. Think about how long you and I have been talking now.
Mm-hmm.
And think about going back to the 2016 when there was a systematic coup launched against Donald Trump. And the moment the day after the Mueller investigation ended with Trump being completely exonerated, but not found innocent, right? That's key. The impeachments began the day after. And then when he leaves office, the January 6th matter begins. When he's out of office, lawfare occurs. While he's out of office, Mar-a-Lago is literally invaded. And all of this has occurred. And if people don't wake up to the fact that this is how socialism works against any opposite, when Trump leaves office in 2028, whoever his successor is will not be given any leniency by the left. They will come at him with everything they can. They do not believe. The problem is, Perry, we don't have a common ground anymore. Our common ground used to be the public square, and in the public square was the Constitution. And both sides agreed that that was the legal limit of our political ability to rule the country. Now socialism, if it cannot win elections, will steal them. If they cannot win elections, they'll burn down cities. If they can't win an election, they'll assassinate their opponent or seek to get them jailed or at least thrown out of office by means that have been proven, if going back to the Russia hoax, to be profoundly illegal.
One last question before I take a break. There seems to be a real problem in our judiciary below the Supreme Court, in the lower courts. And even to the point where the lawfare was going on, we found the motives of these people, judges, attorney generals. They were exposed. They were found to be guilty of everything that they were accused of, but no indictments and no one's gone to jail.
Yes, if you don't have to pay for wrongdoing, and this goes, if you're at the Walgreens and you're a kid and you steal a candy bar and nobody catches you, tomorrow you're going to do it twice. Third day, not being caught, you'll do it 3 times. You'll want the candy bar. For the left, law is not the matter anymore. Winning power is. They do not regard facts as evidence before law. They regard who they are and their bias as being the foundation of their verdicts.
All right, let me take a quick break. Check out Richard's trilogy on the American government. All 3 books are just fascinating, but his 3rd one is out now, The Passage Through the Shadows. There's the picture of the cover of the book. His website is richardclyons.com. Where can they get all 3 books, Richard?
Through richardclyons.com, I run a little shop, Perry.
Okay.
Also at Amazon or any retailer. But I'm having, in honor of the nation's birthday, if you go to the DNAofdemocracy.com, you can download for free the digital book or the audio book for your car.
Good. Thank you. All right, check it out.
Welcome.
richardclyons.com or DNA.com. We'll be right back.
DNAofdemocracy.com.
DNAdemocracy.com. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Honored to have back with us. It's been a little while. Richard C. Lyons is with us, and check out his trilogy of the American government, and his latest one is The Passage Through the Shadows. And of course, then the other one, they're all there at richardclyons.com, but check out DNAofdemocracy.com, and there's a free download there for audio. Check it out. I was trying to figure out, Richard, I was going to ask this question. It's something that kind of been on my mind. And I'm not looking for things to be conspiratorial. It's just that some things seem to be obvious. And I want to go to Mayor Mondani in New York. It appears to me, my opinion, that he used socialism to get elected. In other words, we're going to give you free groceries. We're going to reduce your rent. We're going to do all the socialist things that socialists do. We're going to make life real easy, and we're going to pay for it. Okay, and I think that's being played out. So he used socialism to get elected. But his main drive in life is his theology, his belief system, which is, at the end of the day, I'm going to own you and you're going to bow to my God. Do you think we see this?
I think you're exactly right. And I think Islamism is using socialism to break our free enterprise system. And I think socialism is using Islam to attack our basic rights, such as right to faith, and our legal system by saying Muslims ought to have their own legal system based on Sharia. Well, the miracle of our government is the common law, and has been since Magna Carta in England. So yes, I think the socialists are using Islam and the Islamists are using socialism, both to break the common ground that is American. I think that's a great point you make. The problem is they are mutually, if they win, think out, in the future, if they win, the biggest enemy of an Islam will be a socialist, and the biggest enemy of a socialist will be someone of the Muslim faith.
Yeah.
But they work together now in hopes of our demise.
All we have to do is look across the pond and see that it's not working. When England, the UK has allowed coexistence of Sharia law with parliamentary law, they may be lost. I mean, it is really close for them.
It is. I have, one of my heroes these days is Nigel Farage, because he fought so hard and at such personal expense for Brexit, which saved England, or should save England. We still have to see, don't we, Barry? Mm-hmm. But to save England from the autocracy that is the EU and Brussels, which is demanding the concentration of power in Brussels over all these countries of the EU, much as we are suffering from a concentration of power in Washington, D.C. over all of our states. Yeah. But Nigel Farage is the one saying, wait a minute, we're losing our entire culture. The culture is based on common law. It literally goes back to 1215. How many years ago is that? 800, how many years ago? Mm-hmm. And it's being attacked because you cannot, in a common legal system, survived with two bodies of law. You cannot sit in one part of England and be governed by Sharia law and have a neighboring community governed by common law. And the two are antithetical. And it is, let's go back to religion a minute. And this is really profound. It goes back to the origins of the Abrahamic faiths. If you are a Jew, no one else has to be a Jew. You're not looking to recruit anyone to being a Jew, but you will defend yourself to the death. You'll defend your wife, your family, your mother, your parents. The Christian will proselytize. And if you want to become a Christian, you will be welcome into the Christian faith. But they can only proselytize. They can only educate. In the Muslim faith, you can convert people either with the tongue or the hand or the sword. That means if you do not convert to Islam, I have the right to cut your throat. And that is the difference.
Yeah.
And if you're introducing the Muslim faith into either an area of Judaism, as we see in New York, or into a Christian country like England, that is, at its base, a Christian country, you will find all sorts of violence, because Muslims aren't interested, the hardline Muslim is not interested in coexistence.
Yeah. All right, so back to our celebration of being America for 250 years and what it is to be free and have liberty. I'm wondering if we can be humbled by the fact that 250 years later we still are free and we still have liberty.
Yeah, I think we should be profoundly grateful. I mean, profoundly grateful for all those who suffered so much in the Revolutionary War, in the Civil War, World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam, in the Middle Eastern wars now for the past 20 years, to provide a cloak for our liberties. But now, our main worry now, and I'm so thankful for your show, is that we have an American public that has been systematically educated in the glories of socialism and how capitalism is an awful system. And if we can't do things legally, we should do it illegally in order to establish our power as a socialist party. These things are extremely dangerous. The country needs to voluntarily educate itself in the profound and unique experience of our founding.
Yeah. You're experienced in media. I live here, and I read the trades daily. And in spite of the loud voice of the left, their numbers just aren't there. Even in ratings, you can take all of this legacy media and add it up. And I'm not promoting Fox News or Newsmax, but it doesn't even compare in viewers and numbers. So there is a shift in spite of the fact that the left seems to be extremely vocal and supposedly control the legacy media, but it doesn't seem to be growing its base.
That, again, is a great point, and it shouldn't, because if you see socialism for what it is not palatable to the American taste. It's un-American. And so there should be a revolt against that. And when you have your comedians taking it upon themselves to demand that if you're a moral person, you have to be a socialist. To be a good person, you have to be a socialist. You have to allow armies of illegal immigrants into America. You have to set up sanctuary cities. And there again, you have the Sharia law idea that you can have two systems of law. These things are unpalatable to the basics of the American soul. And so that's a great point. There is a decline in their numbers as the media is fracturing and has been, for this while now that the internet exists.
Yeah. Richard, you're an inspiration. Thank you, friend, for your time. I value it greatly. Thank you for making your books available. Go to DNAdemocracy.com. And
you have to add the
Okay.
TheDNAofDemocracy.com.
All right, the DNA of Democracy. Sorry about that. Check it out. You'll be able to download the audio version of his books
I
there.
really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. And then go to richardclyons.com, and you can check out all 3 of the trilogy, with the latest one being The Passage Through the Shadows. Thank you, my friend. Good to see you. Stay in the fight. We need you, man.
Thank you, Perry. We need your show.
I'll see you later.
Thank you.